Many of the stories we discuss on this podcast are tied to specific locations or sites across the country. This, however, is not the case for all folklore. Some stories are instead tied to a specific people, a people that many families, including my own, can trace their ancestry back to. These people are known as travellers or gypsies. The origins of travellers in Scotland is only partially documented, with the first official record of the Romani gypsies in Scotland noted in a book of the treasurer to King James IV in 1505. By 1541, the first anti-gypsy laws were passed in Scotland, designed to deter gypsies from entering the country. In 1571, it became legal to hang and drown gypsies in the streets. This hatred and persecution only intensified in the years that followed, with hangings, burnings at the stake, torture, and by the 1700s, gypsies being sold into slavery. In 1746, the Battle of Culloden occurred, in which the Jacobites suffered a defeat at the hands of the Redcoats. More on Culloden in future episodes. The clan systems that had been in place across Scotland since the early 12th century found itself in collapse, and as a result, men, women, and children found themselves being displaced. These people became known as travellers. They met the gypsies on the road and formed bonds through marriage and social integration. It soon became impractical for the state to determine who was a gypsy and who was a traveller, and so the unified group of gypsy travellers emerged. In 2008, a landmark ruling was passed stating that Scottish gypsy travellers is a recognised ethnic status in the country, with its own culture and heritage. Part of the culture is a deep and detailed folklore and oral storytelling tradition. Of the stories told by the travelling people, many involve a hero, often named Jack. Many involve the brownies, fairies, and selkies, as discussed in our last episode, The Selkie Wife. And many involve the devil. This is one such story. This story took place hundreds of years ago, likely not too far from wherever you're listening to this episode. There lived a king, a queen, and a prince who were extremely happy. They attended parties, threw massive balls, went hunting, and done all other manner of things you would expect royalty to do. The king loved to play games, prince loved to hunt, and the queen loved to walk in her gardens. And then one day, the king fell sick. The queen prayed to God, night after night, to heal her husband's ailment. But healing never came. After months of suffering, king died. One evening after this, prince went out hunting, and the horse found itself spooked by a black wolf and threw the prince off its back. The prince was gravely injured. He was taken home, where for months he lay in trouble. Every night the queen prayed to God, but healing never came. One night, the queen started to pray, not just to her God, but to any God that would listen. And yet, the prince didn't heal. He soon died. The queen fell into a depression. Her gardens, that she once walked daily, became overgrown and untamed. The palace became dirty, dusty, and unkempt. Curtains stopped being opened, and light stopped coming into the walls. Parties stopped, balls ended, and the queen was depressed. And one day, the queen went out into her gardens and walked the grounds in the shade when she came across a man dressed in black. "Who are you?" the queen asked the man. The man simply smiled and replied, "I am a stranger travelling, I have come to see you." The queen looked the man up and down, but she did not recognize the stranger. "What is wrong?" he asked her. "Why are you so unhappy?" "How could I not be unhappy?" the queen asked. "My husband and son are dead, and I am alone with nothing." The man laughed. "You have much. How can you say you have nothing?" She said, "I have no happiness. There is no way I can go on." The man said, "What would you give to be happy?" "I would give anything," the queen responded. "But there is no happiness to be had, not for me, not until I pass from this world and move on to the next." The man smiled and said, "If I give you happiness, what would you give me in return?" "You could have whatever you asked," the queen responded. The man said, "I will hold you to your word. Now go inside, and I will see you in a matter of weeks." The queen left, unsure about the conversation she had just had, and entered her palace. She noticed how dirty the palace was and went to her servants. "Have someone clean this. How can it be in such a state?" And soon the servants were cleaning the palace, opening the windows and letting light flow in again. The queen looked out the window and realized how overgrown her garden was. And she said, "Where are the gardeners? They need to work on this." And so the gardeners set off to work, trim back the garden. She looked around. Where are all my people? Where are the parties we used to have so often? Let us throw a party. And so word was sent out to people all across the land, and they came and partied with the queen. Storytellers, musicians, jousters, knights, jokers, and more all attended the party. A spread was put on, the likes of which had not been held in years. Foods from all across the world, roast chickens and pigs, grapes and apples. Music was played, games were held, and everyone rejoiced. The queen was truly happy. And then the man in black returned. "I've come to claim my prize," the man said. The queen looked at him, said, "What is your prize? What is it you ask?" "You are truly happy, as I said, and now I have come for your soul." She looked at the man. "To take my soul, you must be the devil." "The devil I am," he responded with a smile. "And you promised me your soul in return for happiness, and so I am here to collect. Come with me." "Seize him," the queen yelled to her guards, trying to protect herself. And so the guards pulled spear and arrow on the man in black. The man simply smiled and raised his hands, and from each finger sprouted a dozen venomous snakes. He spat fire and hissed. Guards all retreated in horror. Some fired arrows, but the arrows simply bounced off him. He laughed hysterically. "You will come with me, queen, or I will take you against your will." He closed his hands, and the snakes vanished. The queen begged. She broke down in tears. "Please, give me one more chance. Anything." "I cannot refuse someone asking for one more chance." The devil smiled. "But only because I know you cannot win. I will return in 3 weeks, and in those 3 weeks, we will compete. You must beat me at any game. You must do something I cannot, or I will take your soul to hell." With that, he vanished in a puff of smoke. Word was sent out that the queen would face the devil in 3 weeks' time, and so wise men from all across the land were summoned. Anything they could do to help the queen. People, musicians and poets, mathematicians and tricksters, all came from across the land to teach the queen. Some taught her chess, some taught her violin, others taught her stories or word games. But the queen knew she could not beat the devil at any of these competitions. Until one day, a shepherd approached the palace. The guards stopped the shepherd. "What do you want?" they asked. I'm here to help the queen defeat the devil, he said, and so the guards let him in. They led him to the queen's chamber, where he took a sheepskin flask and 2 silver cups and laid them before the queen. I don't understand the meaning of this, the queen said. It is simple, the shepherd said. You fill each of the cups from this flask. You both drink, and you drink faster than he can, and you win. The queen smiled. Thank you for your help, shepherd, but I am not sure a simple drinking contest against the devil can be won. The shepherd smiled and said, Trust me, queen, it is your only way. With that, he turned and left peacefully without saying another word. Time continued to pass, and the queen had nothing, no other options, until the devil appeared in her chamber in a puff of flames. The queen, startled, jumped back. Have you prepared a contest for us, the devil said, or do you forfeit, and I will take you now with no fight? The queen, with no other choice, went for the sheepskin flask and the 2 silver cups. I have this competition, she said. I will fill each cup, and we will each drink. The one who finishes their cup first wins. So be it, laughed the devil. The queen filled each of the cups and handed one to the man in black. They raised the cups to their mouth and started to drink. And with that, the devil spat out flame and coughed smoke. You dare have me drink holy water, he said to the queen. She, startled, continued to drink until her cup was empty. I have bested you, the queen said to the devil. My soul and happiness are both mine to keep. The devil hissed and turned into a serpent before vanishing in smoke. From that day forth, the queen carried on her sheepskin flask and 2 silver cups wherever she went, just in case the devil may return. And that is our story for today. So next time you meet someone who offers you something, take a minute and think, could this man be the devil? Or perhaps you may have to best the devil in a contest. Join us in 2 weeks' time for our next episode. And until then, let me know in the comments if you've enjoyed this episode, what kind of stories you would like me to tell. Like and subscribe, and until next time, may the devil walk behind you. Bye for now.